Howdy guys, it's Wild Bill back here with you again, and today I am having a special guest, and it's Christian. The dude always talk about my other videos. He's most time does he does all the editing and shit for my videos and records and all that crap. But today he's gonna be in with me. We're gonna talk about some of our stories from middle school, and so we'll get started on that. He'll be in just a second. So
Hey.
okay, so it's my buddy Christian, and it's funny, well, before we talk about anything, we're gonna just grab us a pinch out of this tub right here, Stoker's Natural Lawn Cut. So we'll do that before we get started here. You got anything to say to him?
Hey.
That's not enough, but
No, here's how you do it.
hold on, bro. You gonna put that much in on it?
That's how you do it.
Alright, go ahead then, big boy.
It's like roots. This stuff has such a strong smell, doesn't it?
Yeah, strong flavor too. It always tears my mouth up.
Yeah, it's not good. It makes my jaw numb. Only dip that makes my jaw numb.
Stokers. Because it's so long cut. But the good thing about having a long cut like that, it makes the flavor last longer, so.
Gotta pack your tub. Alright.
Always remember, gotta pack your tub. Oh dang, I think I broke it. Shit. It's good. Alright, so his Stoker's, it's already juicing real good, just pure black spit, and Stoker's, it's a decent chew, you know, it's cheaper than like Grizzly and all that. But anyways, it has, like I said, it has a longer cut, and it makes the juice and everything last. Bro, you're retarded. Makes everything, makes the juice and all that last longer. Makes where you can keep it in longer than a lot of other chews. Such as such as Grizzly or Copenhagen or anything like that. Just to me, it don't have the good flavor of those other brands. Stoker's also has like the Jawbacker, and they have really good Jawbacker as well, and that's what they first started with until they started making dipping tobacco. So but clean your mouth off, please. Shit. But anyways, it's really not a bad dip at all. But let's get on to what I said we was going to do. We're going to talk about some of our stories and all that crap from middle school. So, here we go. Okay, so whenever me and him first started hanging out, it was like 7th grade. I'm pretty sure I knew him a little bit. We knew each other. Because I just moved to Montgomery County at that time. I was living at Menifee, and I moved over due to a lot of bullshit. And anyways, and I remember we was in Mr. Whitaker's class, and I'll let him tell a little bit too, so I'm not just the only one talking over here.
It was a lot of fun. One time, we were in the computer room, and the teacher walked over to us, and, you know, we'd goof off, and like when he wasn't looking, we'd get on the computer and like type in porn and look it up and stuff
like that, yeah.
And the teacher comes over and is like, "What are you all doing?" And William says, "You want to hear a joke? I'll let you say the joke."
Okay, so the joke was, I looked up at him, you know, just my little self. In 7th grade, I was such a little dude, and he was like he was like a basketball coach and everything. I look up to him and I'm like, what's the difference between a blonde and a mosquito? And he looks at me, he's like, what are you? And he's like, what? And I'm like, when you slap the mosquito and stop sucking, I remember I got kicked out of class and everything. It was a bunch of funny crap, and he can tell the next one for actually in his class.
We were sitting in class, and I don't think any guy ever grows out of drawing dicks like on paper, because I still did it in high school. We graduated this year, and I still do it now sometimes because it's funny. But he drew a big old dong
Wrapped up on the paper.
around the paper with a drawing of me on the end of it. And all I remember is I looked over and looked down at the paper and saw what he drew and looked up at him smiling. And then I saw the teacher walk up behind him and look at the paper. And he's like, what's that? And he looked at the paper and he's like, William.
I don't know, it was so great. We got quite a bit of stories. I can't actually remember all of it, but because it's been like 6 years since 7th grade.
Oh, we
So
used to draw stupid little pictures and
I
at
hang them up in the
lunchtime,
hallway.
And we'd get a roll of tape and make like hundreds of them. And at lunch, we'd walk around the hallways and hang shit up everywhere.
There's a bunch
just
of like
being
retarded
little
stuff.
vandals is great. Back in our wilder days.
Yeah. Used to be a lot more wild. I'm just kidding. I'm Wild Bill, so. But, you want to tell them about your first dip experience?
One of my good buddies, he's in the Navy now, for nuclear engineering. Shout out to him. He's a great dude. I think it was his sophomore year. Everyone always dipped grizzly wintergreen at school, and when I started, wintergreen made me sick and I didn't like it. I like it now, but he came over first time, and I had a couple buddies over. We was playing some Call of Duty, and he always dipped. And this was before any of us was 18. So we got in his truck, like 5 or 6 of us, and went to like 10 different gas stations. It took us like an hour to try and get dip, and finally we asked some old man if he'd get us a roll of grizzly wintergreen. And he did. We had to convince him. It was real sketchy. He was old, looked like he was on drugs, and he's like, well, I won't get in trouble for this, will I, young man? And we were like, no, just get us the dip. We'll give you the change. It was like $2 and change. He was so happy. But we get back home, Willie gives me a can, and hell, all of us, which is the first time for everyone there except Willie, we all
Not
just
me.
put in a big old dip. Yeah, you weren't there. We put in a big old dip, and we all just sat around, buzzed, felt good, chilling, and well, my stomach started hurting a little bit, like I had to puke, but I couldn't puke, so everyone else was like passing out, like about to throw up, and I went to the bathroom and laid down in the shower in the bathtub, and I laid there and tried to gag myself until I puked. And finally, I got it up. It was a little puddle of spit with a couple pieces of chew in it. So, but after that, I started dipping. So that's how.
So now I'll talk about my first time, and I remember I was in 7th grade, and I remember all the times when I was little, I would see someone chewing tobacco, and I would always be like, oh man, I want to try that, which is kind of stupid now. But,
My dad always dipped.
I mean, like, don't get me wrong and stuff, like, it tastes good and all that crap, but it's expensive and all that, so it ain't the best. So if you don't chew or anything like that, I wouldn't suggest getting started, but if you already do,
Unless you buy these.
it's hard to quit. But
There's a good
either
deal
way,
on
it still
these.
adds up, so,
Good deal on this. I've got the Stoker straight tub over there somewhere that I've had for like 2 months. It ain't good no more, but hell, I didn't even dip half of it.
dude, my camera's on it right now, bro. Anyways,
Oh yeah.
so I was in 7th grade, and my brother chewed tobacco, and so it was really easy for me to like get it if I wanted to. So finally one day I told him, I walked up to him and I'm like, "You want to give me a chew?" And I said, "I want to try it." And so he gave me a chew, and at the time, you know, I was just in 7th grade. I'd got just a little tiny bit, and it didn't even really make me sick or anything. But I remember the first time he got it, he didn't hardly have any, so it was like mixed dip. It was a Copenhagen wintergreen and like no, it might have been like it was mixed. I remember it was a wintergreen and a mint some kind. I remember, and I had half a can. It lasted me for like 2 weeks before I even chewed it because I wasn't like actually dedicated or anything like that to chewing at the time. And I'll tell you, the first time I actually got sick on chew, I was in 7th or 8th grade again, and I was on the bus, and I got a pouch off my brother, and I was so used to just getting little tiny dips, so I wasn't used to all that nicotine, and of course I was on the bus, and I put that pouch, you know, I'm feeling fine. We get like a few miles down the road, I'm starting to feel it, and I'm like, "Oh, dude, I feel so bad." I told my brother. You know, I just hold it like I like spit and all that crap, and my head just like spinning, my stomach started turning and all that. We get home, and I'm like stumbling off the bus, and I get down, I walk into the house, and I'm like, "Hold on." I walk outside and bend over the guardrail, puke everywhere. It was like projectile vomit, and it was so bad. I remember that day at school. I don't know how I remember it so clear, but we had chili for lunch, and it was the nastiest thing I ever seen. And so after that, I took a break from chewing and all that, and I started chewing every single day, probably my freshman year or something like that. I mean, I chewed off and on my 8th grade year and all that, but I never chewed like every single day. And then, so that's really like my first time chewing. So, yeah, y'all know that now. Got anything you want to talk about now?
Only pack of fatties. My jaw is numb.
I didn't put a real fat one in right now because my stomach's empty, and sometimes I get sick if I chew on an empty stomach. So,
I'm a little buzzed.
are you? I haven't chewed like
I
really.
haven't got buzzed from chewing a long time.
I normally don't, but there for a long time I used to chew like major chews and all that, which I've cut down a whole lot because, you know, saving money, and it's just stupid to put that much in. It's really a waste of your backer if you put in like way too much, you know, like this retard.
Not when you have that much.
Don't matter. Anyways, like I was saying, you know, I cut down a whole lot, which I still chew every single day, all day.
You had to pack a fat one for the video.
But, anyways, this Vacker's good!
So I'll give you a little review of this. What I think about it. It's pretty good. It's real salty.
Like any natural or original.
This is more salty than any of them.
yeah.
I think. You already know how the Stoker's cut is.
Yeah,
like how I packed a fatty. All I did was this right here. Just
you ain't gotta do much.
4 fingers there. It's like roots. But well, this will last for a pretty long time. Buddies that are in high school of ours still, they'll buy a tub of Stoker's Mint or something and take it to school. It'll last them
Forever.
for like a week or two. But
especially if you're underage right now watching this video. I mean, of course, most time your parents don't let you chew unless they just don't give a fuck. But
my dad actually is what's got me started, like actually dipping regularly before I was 18. So he'd buy it for me. Whenever he'd go pick him up a can, he'd get me a can, and bring it home. I'd pay him. Sometimes he'd buy them for free. It was nice.
yeah, I remember before I was allowed to chew, I always like snuck around, went down to the creek in the shower. You know, those are where I always went and chewed whenever, or act like I was taking a big old honky, you know. But That's how I always hit my chew.
I want to talk about the prices on this. You can get this for like $10 or $12 where we're at here in Kentucky.
Well,
We're
it's
like
went up where I
11
seen
or
now
12.
about 14, 15, and I remember,
This one was like 12 or 13.
yeah, I remember like wintergreen and mint and all that. It's all went up like tobacco. If you know like anything about it for the past few years, I remember my freshman year, there was a store right up the road whenever I lived down in Jeffersonville, and I remember you could get a can of it for 99 cents, and you cannot find anything that price anymore, not even Longhorn. It's even went up to
like $2.
yeah, it's went up to like $2.
Longhorns are like $1.99.
I don't see why you'd even pay that for, you know, a shitty chew like Shithorn, but
Yeah, it's like $1.99 now. Yeah, where we're at here in Kentucky, I remember it used to be cans of Stoker's for 99 cents.
it's went up.
And Stoker's, in my opinion, is really, really, really good. I think they have the best mint.
They got one of the best mints. It's a really strong, like, flavored mint, and we can also make another review on that another time. We can get some of it.
This is just such a good deal, though. 100% American tobacco, and also that's what I love about Stoker's. I wouldn't say it's a budget dip, even though it is cheaper, because it's about as good as the other ones, in my opinion.
Yeah, it just depends on like the person chewing. If it depends on what you all like, and
Well, my favorites are probably Grizzly, Copenhagen, and Stoker's.
my favorite altogether is what I've been chewing now about every single day is Kodiak Wintergreen, of course.
Yeah, and Kodiak
It's
too.
one of the, you know, I'll do a review on that
Wish
another
they had-
time, so I'm not going to talk about it right now.
Wish
But
they
that's
had more flavors, though.
yeah, me too. They don't around here. You can't find anything hardly but wintergreen and mint. Kodiak. Wish
I'm
they
not
had
even
more.
sure if they have more than those two, honestly.
Yeah,
I
wish
think they have
had
a
more.
straight or an original or something, because I've seen a brown can of Kodiak, but I don't know what it is. It's probably straight.
I don't know. But I mean, he has a different, you know, taste buds than I do, of course, which all of you all do. Everybody has different ones. So everyone likes everything differently. You know, he likes it really good, and in my opinion, and for original, it's one of the best original chews, I believe, besides like Copenhagen. I like Copenhagen Original, actually. Funny story on that, the prices went up crazy on it. Yesterday I bought a can, it was over $5, and I was like, it blew my mind, you know, I was like,
Notice how much I'm
It's
spitting
wild.
with this, how big a one I put in.
but yeah, it's all real crazy with the prices and all that.
Copenhagen Longco was always expensive, but over $5 for a can is wild. Oh, tell him how much that... He bought a roll of Kodiak Wintergreen.
Oh.
It was...
Yeah, I bought a roll of Kodiak, like I said, that's what I've been chewing every single day now, hardly, besides whenever I do these videos. I buy a can special for these videos so I can talk to him and tell y'all what I think of them. But the other day, me and him, we was going around and we drove all the way to Menifee almost to a tobacco outlet to see what all they had, and which they didn't have hardly crap over there.
Just a bunch of cigs.
And cigars and wraps and all that, and I went to this place it was just right up the road, and I bought a roll of Kodiak, and I didn't expect it to be, it was $21, it was almost $22 for a roll, which, in my opinion, you know, that's crazy price. It's like $5 more than like Grizzly or Copenhagen, but the thing I like better, well, I'm not going to talk about it right now. I'll make a video on that. But I got a can of it right now.
Hey, a little sneak preview. We're going to be doing a bunch of different flavors. Suicide. Bunch of different skull flavors.
Oh, God.
It's going to be disgusting,
That'd be
man.
shitty.
Let me just... Okay. The citrus
The flavors.
tastes exactly like a urinal. Like the blue thing that cleans them.
I've never ate one, but
Berry, it just tastes so weird. I can't... No. Just all those mixed together is going to be awful.
it's going to be shit. But y'all stay tuned for that, so we'll make sure we have a video. I don't know when we'll do this exactly, but so we'll get that figured out sometime and have y'all updated on that, and you know. And I'll make sure I come out with plenty more videos. And sorry, like I said, the other day I was supposed to make one yesterday, and I went to the hospital. I got home, and I didn't really feel like doing anything, so I didn't really do much. Just laid around a whole lot, and just been in a lot of pain lately over my kidney and all that stuff. But I still try to come, make videos for you guys so y'all can watch. So just show your support to my channel. Give it a big like and subscribe and all that too if you already haven't. So that'll probably be it. You can join me on this one. As I always say, don't be slacking, keep on packing.